Okay, good morning. So we're up to Shin Aleph, working our way through this very long siman, up to Lamed Beis, Seif Lamed Beis. So we're talking about wearing clothes in the Rosh Hashanah, wearing them out in the streets, and whether this is a problem of Hoitzah. What we're going to discuss today is a very interesting question of whether you can take a jacket and put it over your shoulders. Wearing it in that way, is that a problem on Shabbos? Okay, so let's get there, Mr. Shem. So Lamed Beis. So a person goes out with money which is sort of wrapped up in some cloth that he's wearing. Chayev, he's going to be chayev if that's for Hitzah, for carrying the money in that way. Alva Babayis, if he's in a house where he's not going in a Rishus Harabim, then it's allowed if he needs it. Even if they're not sort of all wrapped up, but rather the holes, the coins have holes in them. Okay, so let's explain the Mishnah Berurah, see what is going on over here. So, the Mishnah Berurah Sifkotim Kuf Yotes. Someone who goes out with money wrapped up in some cloth, his chayev. Why? The derech Hitzah, because this is normal carrying. And so too, this is no different to going out when you've got money tied up and it's sort of stitched in or sort of attached to your beged. It's like carrying a purse which is attached to you. That's considered a regular way of carrying, and therefore you're chayev for hitzah. Ava babayis, but if it's in a house or within an eruv, the less be'mishum isa hitzah, there's no problem of carrying. Shari ba'ifin hamavur lekame, then it's going to be allowed in the way it's going to be explained in a moment. Muta lios lovish besadin hazeh im tzarich lo hasadin. Then the Ramah says, im tzarich lo, you're allowed. That would be okay. What's it going on? Kuf chof. Yeah, muta im tzarich lo. Then it'll be muta if you need it. Lios lovish besadin hazeh im tzarich lo hasadin. If you need this cloth, then it would be okay. That's one way of learning. V'yesh Imrim, continues the Mishnah Berurah, Tahayim tzorech loi, it's not going on the cloth that you need. You're worried that if you leave the money out and about, it will get stolen. Just because you need the cloth, that's not going to help you. If you need to sort of hide the money from potential ganovim, then you can wrap it in this cloth and attach it to you. And then that's allowed to carry it in a place where there's no eruv. That's where there is an eruv or in the house. Okay. Rak sheim unukovim. What does that mean? Zehuvim adumim oy matzbeis kesef. These coins, te'ein olayo sheim muktzah lidei. Once you've put a hole in the coin, then it takes away the status of muktzah. That you can wear it as a decoration, as a jewelry. You wear a fancy coin, a gold coin, and you put a necklace through it or something. That's considered jewelry. This is also going on the reisha. When it's wrapped up in the cloth, it also needs to be menukov. And the reason is because if it didn't have a hole in the coin, because otherwise, just putting it in a cloth is not going to help you, because the bosses itself becomes a cloth. The cloth becomes a bosses for these coins. Okay, so just in short, what do we said in Lamed Beis? That if you're going out with mois wrapped up in a cloth, then that's considered your chayev, that's considered hitzah, because that's just the regular way of carrying the coins. If, however, it's not a problem of hitzah, you're doing it in the house, either because you need the cloth or because you need to protect the coins from being stolen, then that would be okay, so long as there's no muktzah problem, i.e. the coins of a menukovim, they've got holes in them, so you could use them as decoration, as jewelry. You put a necklace through it, and then that would be okay to wear it in that order. Then they're not muktzah, so there's no problem with hitzah, there's no problem with muktzah. Okay, Lamed Gimel. Also, lot says b'Shabbos b'mois or b'kesef v'zov hatfurim b'bigdei. You can't go out with coins which are stitched in to your clothes. V'yesh matirim b'makom pseida, and there are those who permit it in a case of a loss, a potential loss. For example, if you leave it in the house and you're worried that someone's going to come and steal it, then that would be okay. And we're makel if you need to go out and you're worried that someone's going to steal it, that if you stitched the money into your clothing, that would be okay. But if you don't have to go out, and you can stay in your house for low lotzates, and you don't have to go out, and therefore you can protect and look after the money, it's just lo yetze, don't go out, because otherwise if you're going out, you're going to have to take the money with you, and you know there's a shaila of hotzah, so therefore best avoid it. And in a situation where you can avoid going out and avoiding a potential hotzah issue, yesh lahachme, one should try and avoid the hotzah issue. Okay, let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Ocelot says, so you can't stitch money into your clothing and go out on Shabbos. Why? V'lo botli legabi beged, and it's not considered bottle to the beged, like anything else which is stitched to the beged, mishum techashuvim v'lo botli, because the money we're talking about is chashuv and it's not bottle. Mikol makom les behu chiyuva kamoi b'tzrun l'maylo. It hasn't got a chi of chatas, like a minat Torah, that it's also like in the previous case where you're just sort of carrying it. Ela isura. Here it's only also midrabanon mishum delav derech hotzahi, because when you stitch the money into your clothing, that's not considered regular carrying, and it's only also midrabanon, and that's why b'mokum peseda we allow it. Says the Mishnah Berurah Kuf Chaf Gimel b'mokum peseda hainu b'tfurim b'toich bigdei me'erev Shabbos. That means it's stitched into your clothing from Erev Shabbos. The time and the reason is the kiven the lesbu ela issa drabanon mishum delav derech hotzahi v'chanal. Since the whole thing is an issa drabanon, because it's not considered derech hotzah by stitching the money into your clothing, or kol shkein bizman hazeh. Certainly nowadays the laharbe poskim less on rishus rabbi deraisa. According to many poskim, we haven't got a rishus rabbi deraisa. Hikilu b'makom peseda. Since the whole issa that we're talking about is only a drabanon, therefore b'makom peseda, if it's going to cause financial loss, we allow it. The odom bohol al mamonei, a person gets very anxious and confused about his money. V'im lo natzi ba'ofen zeh, if we don't allow him to stitch his money into his clothing, yavoy lavar al issa Torah, he might come to do a more serious violation of an issa Torah. The yavoy litva b'karka. For example, he's got money, he's got some gold coins that he needs to save. He might come to dig them into the ground, and therefore he's being over more serious isurim of chayresh and boina, etc. Even if he didn't stitch the coins or the money into his clothing before Shabbos, that's not the only shinu that we can do. There are other shinuyim that he can do. For example, that it would avoid being a proper hitzah. You put it sort of between your clothing and your flesh. You put it in your shoe. It's a better form of shinui to sort of stitch it into your clothing if that's your only solution. Okay, Im Tzarech Lot says. So we said, what's this going on? Kuf Chaf Daled. Yeah, if you need to go out and you're worried that someone's going to steal your money, so then stitch it into your begodim. It's not derech hotzah, and mokum peseda we allow it. Says Tzarech Lot says, why do you need to go out? Kuf Chaf Daled kagoin sheyaresh im yeshiv b'bayis. We're worried that if you're sitting at home, kol hayom yargishu boy shel shomer ma'osav yavo legazlei. People will, the potential gun will chap that you're looking after your money, and that will actually be a red flag to a bull. That will actually encourage him to come on. Obviously, the guy's not going out because he's got something that he's looking after, and that will encourage him to come and take it. And therefore, but if he does need to go out, lo yetze, haynu chutz le'eruv, i.e. going out of the eruv, k'sheu lovish ba'beged, when he's wearing this beged. If he doesn't need to, then obviously he should avoid it. Yesh lahachmish lo lilbish ha'beged, zechashin shem yetze bay. And better to be machmir, not even to wear the beged, because we're chayshish that he might go out with it. Okay, so just to summarize Lamed Gimel, what have we said? In the previous simon, in the previous sif, we said hayetze b'mois hatzrim lo b'sadinoi, it's somehow wrapped in a cloth and he's taking that out, then that's a chi of chatas, because that's considered derech hotzah, that's regular carrying on Shabbos, and the only allowance would be that if it's in the house where there's no, or in a place where there's an eruv, there's no problem of hotzah, and the coins are menukovim, which means they haven't got a problem of muktzah. If the coins are substantial, you could use them as jewelry, put a necklace through the coin, and that would be a derech of wearing a tachshit, and that would be okay. That would be the previous sif. Here we're talking where the mode of carrying is not issa d'oraisa, because you're doing it with a shinui, and therefore you're stitching the actual coins or money into your begodim, and that would be a shinui. And since the issa hitzah is only an issa d'rabanan, the makom pseidele gozu barabanan, and it doesn't have to be stitching in. Another form of shinui would also be acceptable. For example, putting the coins or the money in your shoe, or sort of between your clothing and your flesh, or something like that. But the Mishnah Berurah says better to do it by stitching the money into your clothing. Okay, that's Lamed Gimel. Lamed Dalet. Yotzei Adam Besuda. Now we referred to this yesterday. Yotzei Adam Besuda. A person can go out with some sort of scarf or head covering, a kerchief or something like that. Hamukupul al ksefai, that is folded and you put it around your shoulders. Even though you haven't got a thread which is wrapped around your finger, which we'll see in Mishnah Berurah what that means. If this material is not covering the majority of your head and body, also lot says by you can't go out in it. Unless you tie both ends lower down, below your shoulders. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Hamakufal al ksefai. Afal gav the batalis also b'makupul. Even though we said yesterday that you take your talis or some sort of cloak and you fold it up and you wrap it around your neck, that's also kamesha kosu b'sif chavtes, like we did yesterday in chavtes. Besuda shari. Here we allow it to suda derech levishasa kach b'chol lekafle al ksefai, because this is
recording in progress.
This is because. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what that is. Derech levisha kach b'chol lekafle kseifa, because here is the derech levisha to fold this thing and to wrap it around your neck. It's like a scarf, and therefore that would be okay. V'chol zemar b'mekom derech eiza anoshim leilech lefamim. That's so long as people in your community wear things in this way. Now that therefore comes on to what I mentioned at the beginning. Can you wear a jacket on Shabbos, sort of just resting over your shoulders, where you haven't got your arms through the sleeves? So take a look at footnote number 88. It's very interesting. Velotzes b'chalifa hamunachas al ksefov, wearing a jacket which is thrown over your shoulders, ve'ena machnis yodov lesharvolim, and you haven't put your hands through the sleeves. Das hachazon ish shemuta, that it's allowed. Interesting. V'ra sham shekein hayonoig, and the Chazon Ish apparently also would sometimes wear, I guess in Bnei Brak it's very hot, and therefore to wear a jacket over your shoulders where you haven't put your arms through the sleeves, he said is muta. V'chut shani don bezeh, Muva stories, Shachazon Ish don bezeh, v'siyem sheyesh lodon b'chol makom im kachi derech halavisha ba'isa makom oilai. Etc. So the Chut Hashoni says it depends very much as if people go out like this. So people do this. I guess in Bnei Brak it's very hot, so you see people wearing a jacket over your shoulders. Yeah, okay, okay. Well, that's why I did it. But in a situation where there is no eruv, is it the derech? I don't know. London, the people go out with jackets over there. Sometimes you see it. I don't know. It's a yeshivish way of walking. I don't know. Manchester. I don't know. Yeah. I was surprised when I saw this. I was surprised. Now, what about Yossi? What about this? What about if it's raining? That's more of a Manchester London story. And you want to take your jacket and put it over your head. So is that a problem? Now again, we're talking about where there's no eruv. So if you jump to the next paragraph at the bottom of the thing there. Just skip the next paragraph. If you take the whole beged, the whole jacket, and you throw it over your head to protect your hat, so that's considered that. Yeah, and it's not derech malbush, and it's carrying. It says ain't derech malbush, and therefore it's a problem of heitzah. It depends, because if it's draping down, it might not be a problem of oil, whatever. However, it's mutter. So if you're doing it to protect yourself, it's okay. To protect your hat, it's a problem.
So what does a woman do for shades?
Oh, so that's the thing. So that's a great question. So if it's to protect the whole body, and warmth, and it's delicious. Yeah. Which is more expensive, the hat or the shaitel? Yeah. So if it's to protect your body, then it's mutter. If it's to protect your hat, then not. Shaitel, I don't know.
She must be able to because it's the hair. So
Yeah, Mistama is okay. Mistama, yeah. Okay, so that's that. Let's carry on in Mishnah Berurah. So again, okay, so we'll summarize soon. Kuf Kaf Ches in Mishnah Berurah. Afal Pisha Ein Nema. So we said that you can go out with this folded kerchief around your neck or whatever, even if there is no thread. Now, what is that about? To Ikelaman Da'oma says the Mishnah Berurah, B'Gemara, Da'oma B'Gemara, D'Bo'inam Dafka She'nima Yotzik Me'asidu Krucha Le'tzboy. It's not, there is an opinion in the Gemara which says it's got to be Dafka wrapped around your finger, La'chazika Shelo Yipol Miksefa, that it shouldn't fall off. Okay, Avoloi Kaimel Anochi, but we don't hold this. And therefore we say, even if there isn't a thread that you can wrap it around, we still say that if it's Derech Levisha B'Kach, you can wrap around this beged around your neck. It's like a form of a scarf. People wear it like that, and that would be okay. Vim ein hasuda. Now, then this is a continuation of the sif. Vim ein hasuda chayfer reish v'ruba. If it's not covering the majority of your body, then oselot says im ein elim kain kosher shnei roshav. You tie both ends lemata mikseifov. Says the Mishnah Berurah Kuf Chav Tes. V'hainu shel kotzer. It's short. Ve'ein bo shir k'dei lechafes reish v'ruba. It's not big enough to cover your whole body. You tie both ends lower than your shoulders. It's like a belt. It's going to be okay, even if it's short. But if there is a shear, the mikri malbush, because it's considered a malbush, and this is the normal way of wearing things. Okay, so very important that if it's derech levisha b'kach and you've got some sort of scarf and people wear it in that way, that would be okay. Wearing a jacket over your shoulders, the Chazon Ish says it's okay. The Chut HaShani adds only if it's the mokum of levisha in this area, which I'm not exactly sure what the situation is here in London and other places. And wearing a jacket over your head, if it's to protect your body, it's okay. To protect your clothing, such as your hat, that would not be okay. Let's just do one more sif. Levodim hakoshim, hard fabric. You can't wear that. You can't sort of put that over you and wear that in Rosh Hashanah because that's not really considered a levush or bekarmelis, or even in a karmelis when you're wrapped in them. But if it's not very hard fabric, but it's a bit softer, then it would be mutter. Says the Mishnah Berurah Kuf Lamed, levadim hakoshim she'ein derech malbush levadim hakoshim. Because that's not, people don't wear this. It's not considered a levush. These very hard fabrics, v'havir kamasui v'osa, and therefore you're just carrying. It's a burden. It's a masui, and then if it's osa, mishum Umashim be'arambam da'afilu imhem dakin, even if they're very thin, osa kivin shil kosher. It's to do with the not with the thickness and thinness of the material, but rather the hardness of the material. And therefore the Rambam would say, even if it's very thin material, if they're kosher, if it's hard, then it's a problem. However, he said at the end of the sif, then it'd be mutter. If it's not that hard, and you can somehow wrap it around you, even in a Rosh Hashanah, that would be okay. So long as it's duck, it's thin, like clothing is, rather than thick material. Okay, Peseda, that's a good place to stop.